Mel,
Hi.
it's such a pleasure to be here with you for this live event.
Yes.
Um, okay, first of all, I just have to say to our audience, if you're not already following Mel Ripp, what the hell are you doing? Get on top of this. And also, Mel, I have to tell you, the more I think about your name and especially like your shortened first name, I feel like you have a name for broadcasting. Do you feel like this is Mel Ripp
This is
reporting?
Mel
Like,
Ripp reporting. Yeah.
doesn't it
Yes.
feel like that?
I wanted to go into broadcast journalism and then I was just such an introvert. So I just back in the day I was just like, how am I even going to interview somebody? Like I'm just like, hi, my name is Mel. So yeah, I don't know how well that would have worked. But yeah, I have what's called like a firsty lasty, and so I just feel like it like rolls off your tongue, right? And
I
I think
love
it's
it.
a big reason why I didn't change my name when I got married, because I'm just like, Lozoff is not as roll off the tongueable as Rip, right? So Mel Rip.
I didn't even realize, okay, I didn't realize this was your maiden name.
Yes, it is. It is. Yes.
I
Modern
love it. Like,
woman and all that.
I love it. Here in Detroit, we have the I don't know if it's like this everywhere. We have the craziest broadcast names here. Mort Krim,
Ooh, all right.
Carmen Harlan.
That's a lot of alliteration.
Hello. There's a bunch of others. Maybe the Detroiters can comment. There's some really iconic names, but I feel like Mel Ripp could be one of them.
In northeastern Wisconsin, we have a guy named Pete Petoniak. And I swear to God that at first when I heard his name, I love Pete. He's great. I've met him. But at first when I heard his name, I'm like, you totally like, I don't think that's your real name. I just like it's just it's too much alliteration. It's too perfect for it. I'm like,
Yes.
no, your name is like Pete Burns, and like you just, you like changed your name. So
To make it more like of a zinger.
yeah.
I love it.
Zing.
Okay, well, let's dive in. For those who are watching live, I think Mel and I, because Mel, our audiences are sort of like a little melting pot for this live. So
100%.
let's start, Mel, with you introducing yourself. I'll introduce myself after, and then we'll talk about niching down and if you should do that and why and how that all works. So,
Yeah.
Mel Ripp.
Mel Ripp
Take it
reporting.
away.
Hi, my name is Mel Ripp. Hi. So I am the owner and founder of Peapod Marketing and PR. I have had my business for 4 years, the day after Thanksgiving. So anniversary is coming up. And I used to do everything for everyone under the sun. But now I can proudly say that I help female leaders become thought leaders using LinkedIn, using their own blog posts. So a lot of LinkedIn ghostwriting, basically. LinkedIn ghostwriting, blog ghostwriting, website copy, anything having to do with female entrepreneurs or executives. Although I will work with all genders, really love working with women specifically.
Okay, I want to talk about that as we get into like the niching down discussion.
Like the opposite of niching down. Sorry.
No. I think it's a really good point. I want to talk about it.
Yep.
But let me introduce myself for those of you who are part of Mel's tribe. Hi. My name is Laura Khalil. I'm the founder of Brave by Design, and I am dedicated to helping ambitious women in consulting get bigger consulting contracts in the next 90 days. Very focused on rebalancing the scales of financial justice in favor of women. I'm obsessed with women. I think in a good way. But I feel I've seen the research. Women give more to philanthropic causes, but they have less to give than our counterparts. And so my whole thing is if we can make this your $250,000 a year, that really kind of gives you FU money, which allows you to start impacting change in your communities, classrooms, and capitals. And I'm here to show you all how to do it. Give me a follow. My background, I've been in consulting for about 10 years, and largely because I was highly unemployable. I was collecting what I like. Sorry, Mel, I shouldn't have said that as you were drinking.
No, I
I
just
was
agree.
collecting.
I feel like I'm highly unemployable, but whatever. Go on.
Yeah, totally. Cannot be hired for full-time roles. But I have consulted for companies like GE, Intel, Twitter, and many more. So I do help people get contracts of that size. But if you just want bigger contracts, that's cool too. So, Mel, let's
Yeah,
begin.
let us begin.
Are the riches in the niches? Mel Rip, what do you
Do
think?
you do you want Mel from 3 months ago, or do you want Mel now?
I want let's start with Mel 3 months ago. What did Mel, because that's probably where a lot of people are. What did you think 3 months ago?
Yeah, so I thought, and anyone who knows, and anyone who's maybe on the call, I'm thinking of my many conversations with Alyssa Greenfield, my many conversations with a bunch of people. I was so stubborn. I'm a Taurus, so I was stubbornly proud of not having a niche. I felt like if I had a niche, then my curiosity, which I feel is one of the things that has helped me in my consulting business, in my creative work, I felt like if I niche down, then my curiosity would be stifled. That, I wouldn't be
Wow.
able to learn about all of these different things. And that was really my thought process. And so I was just like, nope, my business doesn't work if I'm not able to be curious. And so I'm just going to do everything for everyone.
Mm.
So that's really where that came out of. And I was stubborn about it for a long time because, frankly, I was really scared. I had built my business from, I shouldn't say scratch. I've had the fortune of having pretty amazing referral partners, amazing collaborators who are like, yeah, you had to work with Mel, which has always been wonderful. And I sometimes am just like, I don't know how I built this amazing community, but I did. We all built it together, I think. But and if I'm babbling, Laura, just cut me off. So
There's like a giant hook that comes out, and it's like she's done. So, no. This is really interesting. I actually have some fun. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said something really interesting. You said many interesting things, but one I want to hook on to was you said, I felt my curiosity would be stifled if I, if I weren't so broad.
Yep.
Do you think, like, because sometimes we have these beliefs, but like they're not always true. They're just like things we believe to be true.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just was kind of like, where did that belief come from?
I think it was just a belief that I think in the early days of my consulting business, I think it was something that people and clients were really compelled by. And, I've had so many people say to me, like, Mel, you write just as easily about high density mobile shelving. Don't ask me what that is. Conversation for a different day. As you do about
That's our next LinkedIn Live.
Totally. Yeah. What is high density mobile shelving? It's a remnant from a past job. You write just as easily about that as you do about fintech and insurtech, as you do about the world of work. And I think that it became a badge of pride for me that I could and I think that that's true for a lot of writers and like marketing consultants, is that we feel this pride about figuring things out and being one of those people that clients can turn to when they're like, I'm going to give you 2 bullet points on this and I need 600 words. And I used to be like, okay, I'll figure it out, and that became my badge of pride in a lot of ways. But what I discovered early this year is that my badge of pride had literally turned into a ping pong game in my head, where I was, I would do something like I'd be learning about SaaS-based technology at 9 a.m. And then at 3 p.m., I would be, taking a deep dive into education advocacy for a nonprofit group. And those
Wow.
things can't be more different. And I
Yeah.
kept, and I can't remember. I know that there's a term for this, but I just felt like I was volleying back and forth so much on
Hmm.
the things that I was doing and then what I was doing. So it wasn't even what I was trying to decipher for clients. It was I was doing social posts and I was doing website copy and I was doing script writing and and all of those things are still part of my
Everything.
now, right? But it was just the subject matter ping pong combined with the actual services, what do I do ping pong, became just
Hmm.
a lot of stuff in my head, and it just felt
It
overwhelmed.
sounds confusing, and yeah, it sounds overwhelming.
Yeah,
Alyssa says,
yeah.
can I just pop in what Alyssa says here? She says,
Yes.
I won an award, and oh, here, I can put it on the screen. There we go. I won an award in high school journalism class. I know I'm learning how to use this, folks, as we do this. So bear with me.
Great.
I won an award in high school journalism class for being the most willing to take on random projects. Turns out that's not a great skill as a business owner.
Yes.
Alyssa, preach,
Yes.
girlfriend. Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
I
So true.
feel like random projects like kind of became, yeah, like I said, it kind of became my badge of honor because I was like, sure, I'll do that for money. Sure, I'll do that to figure it out. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to go off on a bunch of different tangents, but I think sometimes we as consultants, and I don't know, Laura, if you've come up against this too, but like it feels sometimes like there is this fine line between challenging yourself to learn more and
Hmm.
just because you can do something, does that mean you should? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to
Well,
explain that.
I will say that in my consulting career, when I was working on really big contracts, because most of now I've switched my business largely to helping other people do that. So I'm kind of out of the business in many ways. But I do remember kind of in some cases I was writing case studies over here, and then over here I was doing social media content.
Yeah.
Over here I was designing website copy and information architecture because I could. Because I could. And it was a little bit in the beginning, like, an exploration of, like, what do I really wanna do? Like, there
Yeah.
was sort of, like, me figuring out, like, what do I really wanna do? But I also think we can get in that mindset of, "Oh my god. Okay.
Yep.
It's coming in. I gotta grab it. Or what am I gonna do? Like, maybe I won't get another job, so just take this
Totally.
one."
Totally. Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that was what my first 3 years were. It's like I started the year before, well, like, November of 2018. And I was like,
Mhm.
I saved up enough money for 6 months and I just figured I'd have fun for 6 months and then I'd have to go back to work. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh,
Oh,
wow,
wow.
this business is actually working and I'm getting clients. Um,
Yeah.
then,
I like this comment. Oh,
oh,
Mel, can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. I'm enamored with the technology now that I
me
figured out how
too.
to do something
I
on
want to
here.
do this.
So I just popped in this comment from Lauren to your earlier point. So many people do this, take on all the projects in hope of making money, but then are too ping pongy to actually focus and make money
Yes.
or build a reliable reputation. Let me fast forward quickly.
Yes.
What changed 3 months ago? Because you said 3 months, you said, should I ask you today or should I ask you from 3 months ago? So
Yep.
what happened 3 months ago?
So a couple things happened. The first is that I think that COVID burnout hit everyone differently and at different times. And my COVID burnout hit right at the end of 2021. And I spent the first 4 months of 2022 saying to myself, like, something has to be different. I can no longer bill. I was billing 40 hours a week, and so
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to work on my business at the same time that I was billing all of these hours. I was trying to transition my business model to being completely value based and project based and not time based. And I just thought to
Mm,
the only way that I'm going to be able to do this is to have some clear parameters on what I want to do, what I truly want to do. And I had been working with a woman. I've been working with a woman for about a year and a half now. And the whole idea of LinkedIn ghostwriting, or ghostwriting for people and not
Mm-hmm.
brands, writing for people and not brands,
Mm-hmm.
kind of came up by accident. And so a couple months ago, with the help of a woman named Dr. Donna Marino, if anyone ever needs a coach with a psychology background, she is amazing. But I started to work with the beginning of January, and she really pushed me to say, what is it that really lights you up? And I had never asked that question
Mm.
myself before. And I realized that so I listed all of my clients, and if there's any clients on the call, I love all of you. But I listed all of my clients, and I circled the ones that I loved working with the most. And then I tried to figure out why. And what they all had
Oh,
in
wow.
common was that I was working with individual people, not brands.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping them get their perspectives and their insights out into the world, because they were
Mm-hmm.
people that knew they had things to share, but just had no clue how to go about it, or didn't have the time, or didn't have the writing chops, or didn't felt
Mm-hmm.
imposter syndrome, just like all of us do from
Yep.
time to time. Right. And I
Yep.
just started to think, like, wow, I'm doing this work already, and this could actually be a thing. So, in answer to your question, part of it was burnout. I was working way too much. And then the other part of it was just working with somebody who let me, I don't know, just kind of helped me realize that I had the confidence to say no to things, which I think is
Yeah.
a huge part, when you don't feel as confident, you say yes to
Mm-hmm.
everything because you're like, oh, well, I have no idea when it's going to go away, and
Yeah.
almost 4 years into this business, I just feel like my business is not going to go away, because I've built a strong business. And so what can I do to
Mm-hmm.
make it even stronger? And niching down was kind of my answer to that.
I love it. And I remember seeing some of your posts on LinkedIn where you said, I'm starting to niche down. And it was kind of like you were describing this process. And I don't know if Mel, if it was painful for you. Was it painful? It sounded really like maybe anguishing. Was it?
It wasn't painful. It was more just nerves.
Mm,
I felt like, because I think that we as humans, sometimes we want to think in black or white. We want to think in absolutes. And so I
mhm.
think my biggest anguish was I didn't want a brand client to look at my, a CEO or a
Mhm.
CMO that I was working with, or a VP of marketing, to
Yeah.
look at my LinkedIn post and go, oh, well, we should never call Mel again for that work. And I'll be really honest with you. I'm in a phase right now where I am still working with brands, but
Mhm.
they have to, they kind, I have my own, and Laura, you talk about it, I have my own kind of red rope policy and my ideal client, and I have that
Yeah.
client for the ghostwriting niche. And then I
Mhm.
also have kind of toned down my brand work and really have focused my
Mhm.
brand work based on a lot of the things that are near and dear to me about the ghostwriting niche.
Yeah.
So I think I just, I'm not quite 100% ghostwriting for people yet, right? It's definitely a 50-50. But I think I just felt like, oh my gosh, like, what happens if I do that and then someone is like, oh, well, we're going to have to find a new copywriter.
Mhm.
Because I know that that is how, for better or for worse, that's how we think. We see something and we're like, oh, we don't take a step back and go, oh, well, maybe she's still doing this, or maybe she would, if her dance card wasn't full, maybe she would help.
Right.
So I think that was the part two. But I will say, Laura, what I didn't expect, I think it's always funny you think so much about what will, or what you think will happen, you don't make
Mhm.
room for what actually happens, which is that
Mhm.
I probably got about 8 to 10 messages on LinkedIn, basically saying, like, your
Yeah.
niche is great. I love that you're doing this. It is so needed. I would love to talk to you. I think there are opportunities for us to be referral partners. I would like to work with you myself. And
Yeah.
I think I was blown away at how much support I got from people that I know and people that I had never met before or had only met,
Right.
on LinkedIn, which I think
Kind of
is
that counterbalance.
totally. I
Yeah.
was not expecting, but I'm always the person that's like, oh, this, for a long time I was that person that's like, oh, the sky is falling. Like I better find some cover.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's interesting how it also frees us up to do more of what we want. Now, I do want to go back to something that you mentioned at the top of this LinkedIn Live.
yes.
Um, you said, well, I still do work with some brands, or yeah, I will work with men. Because what's really interesting, and this is something we talk a lot about inside of Elevate, is that yes, you're going to pick a target market, but that target market, like your market of women who are in leadership, it doesn't mean if a guy comes to you and it's a good fit that
Yep.
you're going to say no, but it means that we're focusing our marketing efforts more wisely
Right.
on the right people. People often think, "Oh my god, like, I'm excluding people," and I always say, "No, you're not. You're just getting smarter about who you're actually talking to."
Absolutely. Well, and one of the things
Yeah.
that, that we did that you said right away in Elevate, Laura, which I really appreciated, and it made me think completely differently about a niche, is that you said, we are running, this is not something set in stone. We are running an
Mhm.
experiment. And
Yeah.
I think if more of us thought about niching down like that, it's exactly that.
Mhm.
It's an experiment. And
Yeah.
you have a hypothesis based on, what you know about your target audience, what you know about how
Right.
how you feel. And I don't know, like I think that also changed my mind is when I started Elevate, just thinking about things as an experiment and not as an
Yeah.
absolute was really
Right.
helpful.
Just testing it out.
Yes.
Run, and I'd say that to anyone who's listening to this, and Jazz says it right here. Feedback from the masses is the best because that you're going to get the feedback. You're going to have people saying, "Oh, that's really cool." Or it still might be crickets, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It might just mean that we need to look at a different strategy for how you're getting clients.
Right.
But I love, being able to realize business changes, and I'll just say to the audience, since I started doing more business coaching about 5 years ago, and about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, I ended my last major contract to sort
Mm,
of go more into like the business coaching and helping women. I cannot tell everyone how much my business has changed because as you learn, as you try things, as you grow, as you experiment, you're going to see what works and what doesn't, and you're going to get better. But I just want to say this to everyone, it's not a thought experiment. And if you just roll it in your head 1,000 times a day for 6 months, that's not doing shit, people. It's not. I mean, Mel knows, how I am. I was gonna say, it's not shit. You got to go and test it out in the marketplace and see if people want it or not. See if you're languaging it correctly. That's the only way to know. Thank
well,
you
and
for coming to my TED Talk.
thank you for coming to my Laura talk. And I think like, there are a lot of things that we do, and Elevate that kind of help to do that, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm hosting my first event on Thursday, which is a
so
LinkedIn
excited.
content roundtable. And,
Mhm.
this is not a workshop where Mel certainly could pontificate about the finer points of LinkedIn posts and what makes a good one and, concentrating on
Mhm.
stories. But it's really a roundtable for a bunch of people who want to post on LinkedIn or maybe are posting to kind of, talk about what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and get
Yeah,
support, right? It sounds weird to say
yeah,
LinkedIn support, but it's true.
yeah,
I look at that entire roundtable as not only a way for me to bring people together from a community perspective, but I look at that as market research. I'm
yep,
looking at that as I'm not only running an event, I'm really trying to figure out, or I'm trying to kind of pressure test my own pain points, or what I
Right,
perceive to be pain points around my
right.
target audience, which I think is a great thing to do. And it's, it's a pretty great way to do it, I think. Or, we'll see after Thursday. All of you better show up, but
Yeah. Mel, put a link to it in the comments.
oh, we'll do,
Dana
we'll do.
here says, my experience is that what gets measured gets managed. So action plus tracking, I think it's minus doing plus observing and course correction. Figuring out the niche is a lived awareness day after day, not a fixed concept on paper. Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, Love it. I will also say for everyone watching, even though I talk endlessly about women, a lot of my private clients are men. And I love them. They're amazing. I'm happy to work with them, but they come to me, and that's okay. Mel, quickly,
Yes.
what's your experience been like in Elevate?
Oh my gosh. So oh gosh, I was about to be like, I'm behind. And then I was like, nope, I can't even say it, because then you're going to be like, no, you're not.
No,
Um,
you're not.
uh,
Excuse me, you just hit a 20K month, which is
I
what
did.
we
I did.
what we go after in Elevate, so don't tell me you're behind.
I did. And I realized I hit a 20K month in July too, like kind of by accident. So
Yes.
here we are.
Yes.
Um,
Oh my God, amazing.
so my experience in Elevate has been great. So the thing that I love about what you've created is that there is equal parts accountability and community, right? So there are a bunch of digital content lessons, right? And we work through those the best that we can, and I'm raising my hand and saying, like, I haven't done all the lessons. But for me, I think everyone comes to Elevate wanting to get something different out of it. And for me, I said to
Mm,
myself, if I invest in this program and I can figure out my target market and my niche, that money is well spent to me. And so everything else, and I think we talked about this, like for me, everything else is gravy. All the other
yeah.
stuff is just like, yep, like that is all stuff I need to do, but I can kind of do it at my own pace.
Yep.
Um, so I love the fact that, we're kind of, we're asked to kind of work through this stuff, individually. And then we come together as a group during office hours, and, we share what we're challenged by. And it's an intimate
Yeah.
group. I mean, I don't know how many exactly, but I think it's just like a dozen or 15 people. And so the
Mhm.
Slack doesn't feel overwhelming. The group doesn't feel overwhelming. We laugh our butts off. Like, I mean, the last couple, last couple of calls
Oh
have
my
just been
God.
so good for the soul. It's just
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of things that boast like, oh, you find your people, and but I really did find my people here.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so I feel like if anyone is interested in a program that keeps you accountable, that you have people. I've had a lot of not so great, I mean, and I think as women we can probably say this, but I've had some
Right.
great experiences with other women, and I've had some not so great experiences with women
Mm,
jealous or being envious or not lifting you up. And frankly, I was one of those women once upon a time, because I had my own shit to figure out. And
mm.
um, but
Yeah.
this group is not that. And but on the other hand, it's not, what's the word I want to say? It's not phony. It's not fake. Like all the vulnerability and the authenticity and everything that we talk about is just, it's rooted in a place of wanting to grow, wanting to be challenged, and just, kind of laying ourselves bare a little bit about where we are in our businesses and what we want.
That's cool. And it's been a pleasure to have you there, Mel. I know your graduation is tomorrow.
I know, right?
So, all right, I want to leave some parting words, and then I want you to leave some parting words. So, my parting words are going to be, if people want to learn how Mel did this, they want to learn how she niched down, how she's now hitting more consistent 20K months in her business, which kind of is the promise that I hope to make for all of you. Here you go. You can join me for her 250K year. webinar, which is coming up on September 15th. The link to that is directly in my profile, but we'll talk about the 3 steps to consistent 20K months in your consulting business. And I actually have a workbook. So I am very excited for us to do the workbook. I just want everyone to know, by hearing from Mel, this is freaking possible. And niching down is part of that process. And I'm just so excited for you, Mel. What's next for you?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. And also for some reason I can't put my Zoom link in the comments. I don't know like what I'm dumb. I might be dumb. I don't know.
Okay, everyone go to Mel's page. Everyone go to Mel's page.
Yes, if you, and I'm, you don't have to follow me or anything, but yes, I just posted about
You should follow her.
In my comment for today. What is next for me? Well, I'm actually looking at branching out and doing things. So I want to continue to do the writing and the consulting work for clients, but I also want to provide a pathway for people that maybe can't afford to work with me in that kind of more high touch way. So I'm exploring some consulting just consulting packages, exploring a potential LinkedIn content club with my friend Alyssa. I just eked that out. Sorry, Alyssa. Hope we can.
Oh my God, is the cat out of the bag?
Yeah, maybe. But it would be like a content club that, maybe would, and we're not sure of the details, but, there might be a combination Slack channel and a monthly meeting or something like that. And it's really about, how to get better telling your story on LinkedIn. And Alyssa and I work with, we are, the Venn diagram of what we do is very similar. So just excited to pursue that with her as well.
I have to say, the LinkedIn queen herself, Brenda Meller, has come on in here to help us figure out how to share your roundtable. Okay, there it is. Brenda, God bless you.
But I'm not even, on the live feed, on the LinkedIn feed?
Yes, put it in the live feed.
Oh, here we go.
I'll put it on the screen.
Oh my God, Brenda, you're
okay.
Amazing.
Hang on, we're figuring it out, everyone. And if everyone doesn't know Brenda Meller, oh, there we go. If y'all don't know Brenda Meller, you need to get on this because she is also incredible. She is as I love to call her, the LinkedIn queen. Okay, Mel, you're freaking awesome.
Oh, stop! You are too. Mutual admiration.
I mean, it's it really is. Hang on a second. Okay, thank you, Brenda. Y'all, if you enjoyed this, if you want to see me do more of these, because this is very ad hoc for me. It's just like, oh, this would be fun. Let's do it. Let me know. And if you have people you'd like to nominate for them, let me know. And Mel, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks for sharing your story.
All right. If anyone has any questions or anything, I'm on LinkedIn, all day. So
there you go.
Out to me there.
We'll see y'all in the comments. Bye, everyone.
Bye.